Hello everyone and welcome to my channel and welcome to this video. Today I will show you how I painted this cute little bird on the right, and for that I will be using this Clairefontaine Fontaine watercolor paper, 300 GSM or 140 pounds, cold pressed watercolor paper and 100% cotton. Also I will be using this brush from Panart. This is number 8 round mop brush, this detail no name brush, and also Raphael number 8 round brush. Watercolors are going to be St. Petersburg White Nights, and for this bird I will be using Indanthrene blue, a little bit of burnt umber, and for the background some raw sienna and English red. So without further ado, let's get to the painting. I will start with mixing my colors, and first I'm mixing some burnt umber and Indanthrene blue to create this grayish brown tone. And I'm starting with this brush, mop brush, that has nice pointy tip. I did not wet my paper, so I'm painting wet in dry. And I have started with adding paint in some parts, rinsing my brush and then softening that paint, moving it around. And I do want to create details, so I'm using this mop brush. Of course this is a smaller painting, so you can also use a smaller round brush with a nice, again, pointy tip, or a detail brush to do those details. And you can also see that I have left some parts white, not painted, and while the paint is still wet I'm adding a little bit of the brown and moving it around just to create texture of the feathers and fur on my small little bird. And also I'm painting a lower part where the belly is a little bit darker, and picking up a little bit of the paint where I do want to create, but I want to preserve that white. For the tail I'm going to be using, or a wing, this is actually a wing, I'm going to be using Indanthrene blue. So quite saturated paint. I did not water it down a lot. And also same thing for the tail. And I'm leaving some white spots in between those feathers on the tail, because I do want to keep them visible and just to see the borders between those feathers. Also adding a little bit more of the pigment, again mix of Indanthrene blue and burnt umber. Painting in the legs. I do want to paint the legs quite dark. I will be adding more layers on top to the body, so I do want to match that. Painting in those claws, and then adding with the detail brush a little bit more saturated paint. And I'm not trying to paint in the entire line of the claw, but just leaving some spots. Also, I guess visible, the back paint that I've added first layer, just leaving that layer visible. Also adding quite saturated pigment. This is again mix of Indanthrene blue and burnt umber to the wing and also to the tail. And I'm not being super precise, painting quite loosely and quite fast. I do want to create the impression, but I don't want to fuss over too much over the details. And also I do want to keep the focus, I guess, on the eye of my bird. So I'm gonna paint that part a little bit darker. And for the beak, I'm painting first the lower beak, leaving that to dry. While that dries, I'm gonna add a little bit more of the pigment to its claws, making it even darker. And again, I'm skipping some parts just to create some highlights and shadows on her legs. More details now. The paint is dry. So I'm just adding those lines for the feathers or the fur. And painting in the upper beak. I guess the lower one has dried now, so I'm gonna paint this a little bit lighter, and then just at the root of the bird I'm gonna add a little bit more of the pigment. And now moving on to the eye, I'm particularly careful when painting the eye. I do want to be precise here. Everything else I wasn't trying to be super precise, but with the eye I'm really trying to be precise and accurate, because this is going to be the focal point, and if that turns out to be right, everything else will come together. So this part for me is the most important. I also left a little bit of the white preserved in the eye. If that's a problem for you or too difficult, you can just add a little bit of the white maybe later on with white gouache. So for the background, again using some same colors, I will be painting also the second and the third bird that you can see on the left, but that's gonna be on my Patreon, so the entire painting in real time, this one, this little cute bird, and also those second two are gonna be available on my Patreon. So if you want to check that out, I will put the link in the description box. A little bit of the splatters to finish it off. Of course, you have a sketch for the bird on the right side available for download, so I will also put the link in the description box for that. Again, guys, thank you so much for joining me today, for painting with me, for watching this video, for all your support. If you haven't still, please do subscribe to my channel. I have lots of tutorials there. Check out my Patreon page, and I hope I will see you next time. Bye!